What's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mags. So, of course, this is your preview for the game against Everton down at Goodison Park. And it is that time of year again where Newcastle, of course, start to head into, and every team starts to head into, the busy festive period of scheduled matches. And, of course, it is our usual time slot on Amazon Prime against Everton at Goodison Park. It always seems to come around this time of year that we are on Amazon Prime against Everton down at Goodison Park. And this season is no different. All the away section tickets for this game have been sold out. We are heading into this game, however, without Nicky Pope between the sticks, as we have heard that he has a dislocated shoulder. He will be out for a long-term injury of 4 to 5 months. And of course, we've already seen news circulating around that Newcastle are looking to bring in a goalkeeper. If you didn't catch my video yesterday, go back and watch that video. I talk about my thoughts on that news circulating around about the names being linked to Newcastle in the goalkeeping department. And I also say that I thought, we should have stayed with what we've got right now. I think the quality that we've got in the goalkeeping department is enough to see us get through. But go check out that video. I talk about it in more detail in that video. But with that being said, let's of course talk about the rest of the injuries going into this game. So obviously we're still without the likes of Elliot Anderson, Harvey Barnes, Sven Botman, Dan Burns, Sean Longstaff, Javi Manquillo, Jacob Murphy, Matt Targett, Sandro Tonali of course is banned, so he will not be available for the rest of the season, as has been the case since he's banned. Joe Willock, Callum Wilson as well are on the sidelines, but there is some optimism that Botman and Wilson will be back pretty soon. Joe Willock looks like he could be back pretty soon as well. We are seeing some of these lads out on the training ground at Darsley Park, so I'm guessing it won't be too long until we start seeing them getting their chance back in the squad again and being selected for the starting 11, the subs, what have you, for games coming up. But it's all at the moment fantastic run of results, even with the injuries. We're doing some fantastic performances in games. We're beating the likes of Man City, we're beating the likes of Chelsea, we're beating the likes of Man United just recently, of course. We've beaten them quite a few times this season already. We're beating the likes of PSG, drawn against PSG, unfortunately, in France, which should have been a win, because we got robbed in that game. But even with all the injuries that's going on right now, we are still picking up results. So it does bode the question, if we had a full fit squad, judging on where we are in the league, could we have a chance of pushing for that league title? I believe we could, because the performances that we're putting in right now, even without the likes of Callum Wilson in there, Joe Willock in there, Sven Botman in there, Harvey Barnes in there, you could definitely make an 11, and my brother's been saying this as well, you could definitely make an 11 out of the team that are out, injured, out, them lads that's out on the injury table right now. You could definitely make an 11 out of that. And with that 11, that could be pretty much any team out there right now in the Premier League, with the likes of Callum Wilson in there, Sven Botman in there, like I say, Sean Longstaff, fantastic players, know what they're doing. So looking at where we are in the table, sixth in the table, if we had them bodies back, in the team, them lads back in the team, then, who knows where we could be right now. We could be pushing for that title challenge. We could be pushing higher up than where we are in the league right now, and that's sixth in the league we are going into this game. We've got 26 points out of 14 games. We're only a point behind Tottenham, who are in fifth place. We're 3 points behind Aston Villa, who are in fourth place in the league. We're only a little way off the league title in itself, with Arsenal on 33, us on 26. So we're not that far behind from first place in the league, but we're coming up against a side now here at Goodison Park We're going up against an Everton side who are very, very lacklustre, have been absolutely dreadful this season. They've been given a points deduction as well for breaking FFP rules, financial fair play rules. And, Everton have been looking like this for the past few seasons now. Last season they luckily escaped relegation, and this season, it looks like they could be due for the drop. The only worrying factor is, of course, and a little bit of a saviour thing is for Everton fans, is the fact that there could be three other teams, that are worse than what Everton are this season. But looking at it, Everton currently sitting 18th in the league. They're 7 points. They're only 2 points ahead of 20th place Sheffield United, who, of course, have just sacked their manager in Paul Higginbottom, of course. So, maybe Sean Dyche could be for the drop if he gets beaten this game, of course, on Thursday. But we'll have to wait and see, what happens in the results against Sean Dyche's men at Goodison Park. It's a ground where it has been a bit of a boogie ground for it. But last season, we did pick up a win there, Callum Wilson scoring 2 goals, Joe Willock getting on the score, Joe Linton, getting on the score sheet, and Jacob Murphy also getting on the score sheet in the game. And of course, we've got their old boy Anthony Gordon, who's firing on all cylinders for this season. He's going to be raring to go and wanting to go back to his old kicking ground and prove a point to all of them Everton fans that were down in him, saying he was the reason that their team was so bad. Well, clearly that's not the case, because they're still really bad, and Gordon's not even there anymore. So clearly it wasn't Gordon that was the problem, and it's quite obvious that this season has shown that Gordon wasn't the problem, because Gordon is firing on all cylinders for us. Eddie Howe has just gotten that lad in an amazing place. The lad's got his head in the right place. He's enjoying life here playing at Newcastle United. I'm sure he's going to be absolutely loving it when he goes back to Goodison Park, and he's going to be dying to get a goal against them, of course, in that game. And I'm sure he'll be dying as well to kiss the badge right in front of the Everton fans, just to show that, he doesn't care what they think about him. He doesn't care, about what they think and what their attitude was to him when he was at their ground as well. But I've got to say, looking at their record on home soil this season, Everton, they are one of the worst in the division, with just 1 win, a 3-0 win over Bournemouth, 1 draw, which was a 1-1 with Brighton, to sit alongside 5 losses in the league as well. 3 of their seasonal lowest Premier League total of 5 home goals so far came in that victory over the Cherries, of course, in that 3-0 victory. But looking at it, I do think this is a game where it could be a very, very dangerous game for Everton. It could be a very, very dangerous game for Everton. I mean, with the way we are firing in goals against teams, the way we are beating teams, even with the injuries, this could be a very dangerous game for Everton. Could we see maybe a repeat of the Sheffield United game at Bramall Lane? Who knows? Maybe if there was a few extra bodies in there. I don't know if we quite have the enough bodies there to be able to get that kind of result, but I'll happily take a 1-0 win at Goodison Park. Come away from there 3 points in the bag, because if we can get that, boarding what happens with the results of Tottenham against West Ham on the same day as we're playing, or Aston Villa versus Man City the day before we play, of course, with where we are in the league, we are, of course, 10 plus on goal difference ahead of Tottenham. We are 5 plus on goal difference ahead of Aston Villa. Aston Villa, of course, occupying 4th in the league, Tottenham occupying 5th in the league. We're only 1 point behind Tottenham, who are 5th in the league, just above us, of course. And Aston Villa are only 3 points ahead of us in 4th place. So if we were to win this game against Everton at Goodison Park, we could leapfrog Tottenham in 5th place, and we could leapfrog Aston Villa, who is in 4th place, and take that top 4 spot, with all these games coming up as well, because then we've got to take on Tottenham in the game after this one against Everton, which will be an interesting game as well. But the referee for this game is Tim Robinson, making the journey from West Sussex for the second appointment involving us this season after a 4-0 home beating of Crystal Palace. This will be only the 12th time that Robinson has refereed in the Premier League, and he's yet to show a red card, so hopefully he keeps his cards in his pocket for this game. And on VAR is our old enemy from the League Cup final, of course, last season, David Kunt, or David Kut, however you want to pronounce it. I'd prefer to pronounce it the other way. Of course, this guy is hopefully not going to be involved in the game too much because he wasn't a very good referee in the League Cup final, and he was very, very one-sided, obviously with him being a Man United fan. So let's hope that he doesn't have to get involved too much in this game, and let's hope that Tim Robinson can do a better job as well than the referee from the PSG game as well out in France. But looking at it, this is a game that I do believe we've got enough there to win this game against Everton. Everton's going to have players out as well. They're going to have Amadou Onana, who's going to be out. Dele Alli is also going to be out as well. Andre Gomez and Dominic Calvert-Lewin could return for the game, which could give Everton a little bit of a boost, of course. But, you know, I just think we've got enough in the tank to come away from Goodison Park with the result. Could it be as much of a result as we got against Sheffield United with the 8-0 win against them at Bramall Lane? Maybe. But like I say, I'd happily take, you know, a 1-0 win at Goodison Park, because it doesn't matter how much you win by, just as long as you win, because you still get 3 points at the end of the day. And that 3 points, if the results in the Villa City game and the Tottenham West Ham game were to go in our favour, then of course we could jump up to 4th in the table. That would put us inside the top 4, of course, with our game after this being against Tottenham, which would help again to push us further on. But, you know, even with the injuries, looking at the players that are out, you know, if you put them into that squad, then, you know, there could be a possible chance that we could push for a title. Just putting it out there. You know, at the end of the day, give us your thoughts, what you think down in the comments below. But if we can, you know, get Champions League and maybe reach the League Cup final, you know, there's every chance of doing that as well, because we've got Chelsea in the League Cup quarter-finals. So if we can get past Chelsea, you know, it's then who we get in the semi-finals, and then we're only that one step away, of course, when we get to that semi-final, 2-leg semi-final, by the way. We're only then one step away from making it to the final once again of the League Cup. And maybe this time around, you know, we can win it, unlike last year where we got thoroughly screwed by a horrible referee who is unfortunately going to be on VAR for this game on Thursday. Anyway, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll see you all for the match reaction. However, lads.